Okay, so we're going to take a look at this Black Magic device, my Black Magic design. It is HyperDeck Studio Mini. Uh, let's see what we can see. So let's just plug it in. We won't use the PoE. We're just going to do actual power. And we're getting nothing. So let's take it and open it up and see what's inside. I don't think these took a lightning strike or anything, but I do know they come from a church, and there's a lot of brownouts. And I'm thinking maybe over a period of time, because the story is they'll get these and they'll last for a while, and then they'll go down. They'll do this. They won't show any power on when you plug them in, and of course they're not working anymore. So, and I believe these were powered over Ethernet PoE. And I just take a look at it, just take a quick little glance and see what we can see. Get this cover off of it. Maybe it's something simple, and maybe these can be some nice additions to the channel some which way or another. So that's kind of neat. Built-in channel for the fan to pull across the fins to cool the CPUs down. So power is coming in here. And so I'm just really, in all honesty, that is kind of loose. Hold on just a second. That would be kind of funny if nope, that did not fix it. So onwards and upwards. So let's unplug that. And then need to get, let's just, unlock the ribbon cable and pull it out. And so this front face is basically just a module. It's kind of neat. These are the SD drives right here. That the video would be recorded on. And not sure if I actually want to tear it all completely down tonight, but I'm just trying to take a quick glance in here to see if I can see any physical damage. That would be kind of the first potential possibility. So let me get the meter fired up. Well, looks like I may have to grab old big boy up there. Nope. Here's old little boy. Because I want to check continuity just because there's no sense in struggling and fighting, and you just got a bad solder joint or something inside your power here. But it wasn't working on PoE either, so I don't even remotely think that that's going to be a thing. Okay. Okay. So I'm definitely getting connection there. Let's see. You can see a couple of caps down there. Let me look something here. Okay. I believe I'm going to have to go ahead and pull all of this stuff here apart. Yeah, if you want me to actually fix it on the video, now that's another story. I may or may not be able to do that. I fix stuff, but my fix to no fix ratio ain't near as good as someone who knows what they're doing. But I got backup. I got you. Because you guys, if you watch this video, you will probably see what I should have done to fix it. And that, with us working together, and drastically improves the chance of actually fixing it. So let's see. I don't know if those are hexes. Oh yeah. Dagnabbit. Those are those Heshki. Let me see. Get my knife screwdriver out and see. Oh, and there we go. Can't believe I pulled that out with my fingers. Normally I can't do it. I have to fight with that sucker. I see from a childhood. I've done stuff like this so many times. It's what got me interested in everything because I had to take everything apart to see how it worked, see what was inside. Whether I could do anything with it or not, I had to know what was in it. And so what I ended up with was an amazing ability to hide all of the stuff that I could not fix. It's kind of funny. There was on the side of the house, there was a board, okay? And I figured out I could work one of the nails loose and drop that board down, And inside the outer wall of the house, I could hide stuff that I couldn't fix. And I got it going on now. You know, I can't fix it. I can go hide it, and Daddy will never know. I mean, I had it. And one day, the dryer went out. And so, and this wall was right beside Mom and Dad's bedroom. And Mom was like, okay, we got to get a new dryer. And Dad was like, okay. So, where are we going to put it? We can't put it where the old one was. I don't remember why. We'll put it in the bedroom. Oh, no. Well, they decided to put it in the bedroom. Well, we're going to put it in the bedroom because we already have a vent hole cut in the wall. And I was like, oh, wow, this hole goes all the way through the wall? I was thinking to myself, I just thought it was a hole outside, a place for me to hide my stuff that I wouldn't get caught having taken apart. Well, with all that being said, I helped my dad in every way I could. I mean, if he even remotely needed something, I was running to go get it because I knew that when that day was over with, I was getting a whipping. It was already predetermined. It was the writing was on the wall. I was getting a whipping because the last thing Dad had to do was to go outside and take that board off the side of the house and run the vent outside for the dryer. And he noticed, what's this down in the wall here? Oh no, Dad. He pulls it out, opens it up, and bits and pieces of an old electric razor he could never find was in the bag. Son? Yes, Daddy. Did you do this? No, Daddy. No, I didn't. Of course, he already knew. He knew what the answer was before he even asked me. He knew I'd done it. I was the only one that would do it. So dug and found more and more and stuff. He got quieter and quieter. So, and my daddy wasn't quiet, but he got quieter and quieter as he dug and found more and more stuff. How does this come apart? He didn't say that. I'm saying that. But, over there, that's just kind of stuck on there. And I don't remember what all he pulls out of that wall, but he pulls it all out the wall. Got it all collected up in his hand. He looks at all the piles of old razors and radios and, you know, just everything. And he looks at me, son, did you do this? Yes, Daddy. So I got my whipping for lying and for tearing the stuff up. So the moral of the story is don't do anything illegal or underhanded. You might get away with it now, but tomorrow you're getting a whipping. Okay. I've got this end loose. Now I'm working on the other end. But what I'm doing here is getting on there. Better do on this one and see what I can get. Or she finally come loose. So I'm just going to set this very unsafely up there. I didn't get the little holder out of the box. I don't have enough room to have an actual workstation by any means, so I have to make one little small spot work for everything. And this is a standoff, and that's an insulator. So Here we go. And so this, I think, is the offending capacitor. And it is coming. See, it is tied straight into that 12 volt. So I'm seriously saying that is the culprit. Because all of the ones I've got, the one that tries to work is over 10 volts but under 11, and the rest of them are 10 volts or lower, and they won't even try to come on. But the one that tries to come on is between 10 and 11 volts. It's supposed to be 12 volts. Now, I don't really understand why it would be so sensitive, but it apparently is. And so, yes, that capacitor is gone. So look, I'm going to hopefully zoom in on this so you can see. Now, until you actually get in there and look, now you can see the top of this capacitor. Hopefully, I can zoom in maybe at that angle, and you can see that there's a slightly proud on the top. But on the bottom, you can see how that capacitor is just flat out bulged out. So that capacitor is not doing its job. And looking at the other capacitors, they look pretty well flat, and they're flat on the top. So I believe these capacitors are all good. To try to inject voltage and bring this board up. And I'll show you how we're going to do that and see if it works. We'll use the Rigol DP832, and we'll put 12 volts on it. I'll probably start it at like 1 amp and limit it at 1 amp or wherever I can get the 12 volts at the lowest amperage, and kind of increase the amperage from there. I wouldn't want to, allow the full 3 amps there and something shorted on here and then you blow it up. So you want to kind of start slow and build up. As with always with electronics and the electric chair, for that matter, it's the amperage, it's not the voltage. So anyway, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So this is what we've got. Of course, in just a couple seconds ago for you, but who knows, day or two for me. This is the capacitor we found. Burst on the bottom, bulged on the top, overpressured, and these little rubber stoppers on the bottom are designed to blow whenever you have a situation where the capacitor fails. So I do not, this is a, where's that? This one? No. One of these. I lost it. That's not it. Okay, so I mean it's invisible now, but whatever. It was 16 volt, 1000 microfarad. It was a good capacitor. It was low ESR, and of course I have none of those. I found some 1000 microfarad 25 volt, but that doesn't do any good. So I went to digging in some boards, and I found this is just, who knows, no name Chinese solder. It may not even melt, I don't know. But I went to dig in, and where's that? I hid it from myself. I had capacitors and everything else from myself. Some of you will recognize what this is because of this murderous little beast right here. That's a flyback transformer. It stores electricity and it kills you when you touch it after everything is unplugged. So, that was out of an old CRT monitor that I had taken apart, I don't know, a year or so ago. And I usually try to keep boards like that for this occasion. And that is the only place I could find a, I've already got this heated up, and it's 12 volts. I got it plugged into USB-A. Uh, we're going to see how it works out. But I keep boards like that around because they've saved me just like this in the past. I got a friend of mine, and I guarantee you he's got some capacitors because he's got a little bit of everything, and he's taught me to go to him before the store. So I'm checking him out. I'm waiting to hear back from him. And if he's got some more, then we'll repair the other ones, probably do another video, a straight through video on a repair on one of those so that it's not so interrupted and disjointed, kind of like this one's going to be. But where is it? Here we go. We'll try this Kester right here. So we got the 1000 microfarad 16 volt capacitor. The prongs, the footprint is a little wider than the original that I can't find all of a sudden out of nowhere, hiding, but that's okay. I'm still looking for it, but I'm giving up on looking for it, if you know what I mean. It's aggravating. So anyway, we're going to get this capacitor put in, and we are going to negative to negative, and we are going to see if we can get this board to output 12 volts like it is supposed to. And if we get that, then we should get that Black Magic device running. And this is the disadvantage of running at a lower voltage. Because the heat is wicked away from the tip so quickly. Now, that's not a very good solder job, but that's okay for what we got going on here. So we're just gonna, oh, and that red you saw, that was this showing low voltage because I was pulling the plug out. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, okay. So anyway, so we got that. And I guess I told you we were going to inject voltage, so I guess we're going to do that. Let me see what leads and such I have up here. We can do it with these. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to be able to do this. Let's see. Let's get the daughter board stuck on it. So I think what I may do is just, I'm not really installing this just yet, but we'll stick it in there so I can make contact with those surface pads and possibly inject voltage that away. And so, well, but then I'm injecting it back in through the power supply. So darn it. Let's see. Now we'll see how this will work or not work or end this whole endeavor for a moment until I can get proper tools. So what I'm going to do is it's 12 volts is what I need to put into this. And so I'm going to set, let me just go ahead and turn it on for a second. I set it 20 volts now. So 12 volts. So I've got it set to 12 volts and I want to do current limit. Current is set to 3 amps. So let's just set it to 0.500. Yes. We'll just start there. And I'll increase the amperage until I get up to maybe 1 amp or something like that, and we'll see if we can get it to start up. Okay. Okay, so it tried to start. So we're going to jump it up to an amp. Let's just be adventurous. And we will turn the power supply back on. And it is working. So I'm going to try and blow this whole thing up to show you that it is working. So by injecting, okay, so here's the things you should not do. Everything I just did. I ended up, so I'm just using one lead off of the resistors. So what I did was you've got the voltage, the let me just take this out. You've got the wall voltage coming in, and it is here, and I don't remember what it was, but I think it was line, neutral, and no, line, neutral, and no, I'm sorry, I'm getting really confused here. It was line, neutral, and ground is what it was coming in here, and here was the output to the system at 12 volts. And so this system is so sensitive because all it was getting from this power supply, now I just got to make sure that this power supply is going to output 12 volts, but all it was getting from this was, I think this one was 9.8 volts is what this power supply was putting out. And I don't know if it's going to be fixed. I know that 12 volts in this brings it back up again. I know that this capacitor was blown. And so I've replaced it with a potentially good one. It's years old. When's the last time you've seen a CRT computer monitor? And I just had some and knew I was never going to use them. So I tore them apart, got rid of the tubes, and just kept the board. And hopefully this will work. And so we can have a successful repair here. But it's the age of it. I mean, capacitors have age. Capacitors get old, and as they get old, that is kind of the point of like a variac, which I have a repair going on with one of those. It's just I'm never going to be able to finish it, I don't think. But you'll power it up slowly. from the AC side. And it's not because you're afraid that the AC side is just going to go kablooey, but it kind of is because you have capacitors that need to kind of let's just say reconfigure, reseat, resettle themselves. And so you'll bring the voltage up slowly on the AC side, and those capacitors will slowly charge, and hopefully there won't be a sudden hit of voltage and just blow them up. Like the one I can't find anymore is blown up, which that's what they will do over time. And so the the variac will slowly bring your AC line voltage up and slowly power the circuit until you finally get up to a full 120 volts. Your circuit's fully powered, and you'll stop at stages and let it soak as you climb. But once you get to 120 volts and it's maintained power and everything's functioning good, no capacitor is blown, then you're good. You'll be watching capacitors to make sure that the tops don't start bulging, because the tops will slightly bulge before the actual capacitor blows. See this? This is the only bad thing about this homemade pine tree resin, which in a pinch it works, but it's not something I want to use all the time because it is messy. But um, it works. So if you don't have any, then pine sap from a pine tree dissolved in alcohol rub will give you a usable but messy solder flux. That is. Hadn't even told you what I'm talking about. Get that lock back in place. Snap the front cover on. Take the daughter board and slap her down. And then I'm not going to hook the fan up because I'm just going to give it a moment to power or not power. That is the question. And if it powers up, then I will put it all back together and show you what we've got. I don't want to and it is not. We still got some issues. Let me set that off to the side. Get the multimeter. So turn it to DC voltage. .3 volts. So we're still getting 10.3 volts now out of the power supply, which is not enough to power this device. So that power supply is still wonky. Oh, let's plug it back in and make sure that I've got a good AC voltage over here. I think to save me, so I don't know that I'm going to pull that power supply out again. I'm tired of struggling with this thing just yet. So okay, so this will make it easier to plug in and out and all that kind of good stuff. So, so I've got a fast flickering light over one of the SD slots. So let's check the goodness. How do you know the devil's in charge of the world? Just go out and experience the world and you'll know. Man, it's aggravating. Everything gets hung up. So let's do line. $120 volts. 120 volts. So I know I got 120 volts coming in. So 10.3. So that power supply, I don't know what else is wrong with it. I know that capacitor was bad that I took out, that run away and hid. And but I don't know if that capacitor is any good. I've got a little cheap ESR meter somewhere that I could have put it on. I should have to test it. So we'll have to come back to it. I know it works because by injecting 12 volts on the output side of this power supply, I get it boots up and works just fine. But when I am and I replaced that capacitor to get in on from the internal power supply, and voltage came up, but you know, it's not any better. I still got I'm still below 12 volts. So if I put 12 volts into the board works. All of that's good. So I know it's the power supply that I have an issue, and I know I've got 120 volts, actually 123, from the outlet into the power supply. It's not going into the board. And so what I may do if I decide to use this somehow, some way, I may just put an external plug on it and use a wall wart instead of the internal power supply. Wire it straight into this point over here. And I know it came up and ran just fine on 1 amp. So 12 volts, 1 amp, I know it will run this. It'll boot up. I don't know if that's the requirements on it. But I'm not done with it, because if I can get a known good new capacitor, or potentially a exact replacement, because the capacitor that I took out, here it is. You probably have me on video sticking it over there too. The capacitor that I pulled out, KSJ vent low ESR. So this, and it's gold, whatever's on it. So, I mean, that's telling me that that capacitor is what I call a precision type capacitor. I do know that we can get this working pretty easy by getting 12 volts to the board, bypassing this power supply. But I'm still not settled because I think we can fix the power supply. Anyway, so if I can figure it out or get a another capacitor, then we'll tag on and I'll be right back. We'll see you in a little bit. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.